93.7 Money FM it is, and of course we are right here to give you nothing but all the best, especially where the business world is concerned. So if you're just joining in, welcome on board. It is 93.7 Money FM. A time that we should be obviously be in kickstart right at money, right on 93.7, and of course that's what we should do right now. In good time for kickstart at money. So it is Kickstart Act Money on 93.7 Money FM. So as we continue to give you nothing but all the best, especially where the business world is concerned. And of course, as all better conversations, topic by topic, minute by minute, time by time, day by day, I don't always have coach that's Coach Darlington whenever I write on Kickstart at Money. So it's always good. I'm your host, Moses Mpundu. He's a critical thinking coach. Coach, good to have you yet again for another exciting Kickstart at Money.
Yeah, it's my pleasure always to be on the show, Moses, and I'm very happy once again to come to this yet another exciting, topic that we're going to look at this afternoon.
Yes, indeed. The interest on our conversation today is this is quite interesting, and we obviously get to have conversations, and of course, conversation business is concerned. So it's all to give in, and of course, I get to have the best, especially where the business world is concerned. Now, Coach, building an entrepreneurship culture. So this is quite interesting.
We realize that sometimes you can be talking about something and hoping that everyone else understands. And then at the end of the day, you discover that when we say, okay, let's go now for even when a game, you see even a stadium, everyone will be cheering, okay, I'll be there, this particular day. We'll join you if, for example, it's some marathon of some. It's only you cannot. Everyone else who's going to claim that they can run.
Yeah.
400, and even 4,000 meters. Even 10 rounds. Yeah, I think you have noticed even it's men and women until when we are being put onto the track and we start racing. Yes. Then you find that others will not even start. Yeah, but they were very vocal. So they've expected that maybe they started. Yeah. And so even business, we may be talking about business, but then you realize that not all of us are business people. Neither, all of us are entrepreneurs. Just to have an extra money, for food, for clothes, shelter, and maybe for social outing, and deal with family problems.
Yes.
And that is the motivation for you to do whatever that you're doing, selling, and many opportunities that we have looked at. Maybe to begin with, it is important for us to understand this thing, beauty, and of course, we're saying building entrepreneurship, and then culture itself.
Yeah.
What does it take to build? A lot of us we are planning to build. Yeah. Let me start from houses. That a lot of us are planning to own our own house.
Yeah.
And there are some who have already, landlords. they dreamt, and they have living in their own house that they dream. And there are so many of us, we are even getting older, we are still dreaming of building a house.
Yeah.
You know, so an indication that building is not something that's very easy. It is easily said than it is done, because it involves you, first of all, picking some small pieces that we learned in the past on this program, having a vision, for example, that you need to have a vision, and even say a story building. What kind of building am I building? What kind of a house am I? So you have to put that in mind, and then attach now resources to that. Then one of those key resources that you need to attach is not necessarily money as in a form of cash, but it is time that you dedicate to that particular project building until when that project is done.
Yeah.
So a lot of time, you know, you want something that is readily available, a house that it is, so it's much cheaper for us to rent, which also takes in long run very expensive, but we find it much cheaper because I am thinking if I have to start first of all looking for land, it's not an easy thing.
Yeah.
And where to build, you know, you have a lot of hurdles, and a lot of us do not want to go through that. And that's why we feel comfortable to rent. But when you know that you want to build something, you realize that there's a lot of, thoughts that have to take place into your a project that you are building.
Yeah.
And so you look at the type of the material that you need, you look at the team that will help you to build, something. So coming to business also, it follows the same principle of building. There's no shortcut. So when you leave one piece, in your building, then you discover that this building is not going to be strong. Jesus also is an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
He comes and tells us to say, oh, look, how can you start? For anyone who wants to start to build, calculate your costs. Okay, so already we started learning to say, well, look, if you're engaging into a project, what you need to do is to calculate the cost to know how much that particular project is going to cost you. So it is this particular time where you're going to strict yourself to say, well, look, if you choose now, am I a business person? Am I an entrepreneur?
Yeah.
Am I just a person who is passing by just to buy things, clothes, and anything else? So it's this particular stage where you determine, your roadmap. And we see now the separation. All of us in a marathon, you'll be getting excited because there are a lot of you. Okay, and then you realize that we even take jogging around exercise, and now it says exercise commence. You may run a few meters, people start going off. Others try to start cheating. So you can see that the culture of cheating, laziness, starts coming out. You start being safe and to say, okay, fine. Here now, you choose the money, dear friends. And when you chew your money, you start giving excuses why you chewed the money that you're supposed to invest in your business. You know, you say, pressure. So pressure, Kaja, I took the money, I did. So you give yourself a lot of all these excuses. Whilst your other friend, constantly, the eyes are on the track. Okay?
Yeah.
They know that they've gone round one. There's two round two. So you yourself, so the business doesn't grow. Here, where we are not growing because over time, is you've built a culture and don't want to venture and you're having a status quo. Culture is simply means the way of life where you are passing knowledge, folktales, music, from one person, okay? So when you pass on this type of living, it is expected that this type of a living, this person should adapt to determine you, to define who and what you are. As business stage where we see different types of entrepreneurs and the attitude that we get, all of us. So if we bring in an entrepreneur from Asia, in particular China, Korea, or Japan, then you get an entrepreneur from America, you get an entrepreneur living. It is the one that determines how they are putting it into practice. So building an entrepreneurship culture, therefore, entails that we should start sharing business ideas. So these business ideas will assist us to learn how to live like business people. So all those that talk about football, for example, which you are also a football, whether commentator or analyst or whatever, an expert. Now you have formed a fraternity of a huge football fraternity that you have, or a family that you have, and look at the football values that you pass from one person to the other. You are speaking one language. And so when we take you the football, fans, you behave the same way. Equally, when you look at our conductors in Zambia, others even in Ramen says, I think they're coming from one mother. Why? It's because they've got a certain culture or way of living that they have constantly maintained. And that has enabled those that follow their behavior to say that they come from the same what? A family, speak the same language. They dress the same way. Okay, they analyze issues from the same perspective. Because they share happiness, they share fears in the same way. And so what we need, therefore, here in Zambia, we need to ask ourselves to say, what kind of entrepreneurs are we? Okay? Are we the complaining type of entrepreneurs? Are we the argumentative type of entrepreneurs? Are we the know-it-all type of entrepreneurs? So it depends the values that we are passing from one friend to the other. And that's why this platform offers us an advantage, that the values that we share, we are hoping that those of us who are listening, eventually the more you listen, behold, you become what we think you should be. And you start speaking the money kickstart language, FM language, and family. Programs. And so if you really want to become an entrepreneur, as I've indicated, even when you're watching football, let me talk about the opportunities, the big biggest, elephant in a football in Zambia for now. It's the legend, match that is coming.
Yeah.
Okay, the Barcelona versus the 2024 African Cup, winners. 2012. Thank you. Yeah, 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is interesting is this: for us who are entrepreneurs, we need now to start looking what are the opportunities that business comes. So you'll see a fan and entrepreneur will be separated, because you as a fan, you'll be interested in what you are. Look at different types of Zera. You go back to the Barcelona games, and you go back to the Zambian games and look. So you see, we are even now, those that are really hardcore fans, they will come up with songs that we could have forgotten. Okay, where did they have the time to come up with the songs that you're going to sing? It's because they are spending time, they are studying, they can recorrect, they'll even know who was the commentator on the final game that do that. And even the type of the attire, they will know, okay, fine, we may need certain types of the attire.
Yeah.
So those that are also business minded, they were able to see these fans as they come, what will they need? If they need transport, what sort of transport are we going to dedicate? So you see that those that are in transport sector, they were able to position themselves. We need to eat as we cheer, because for us Zambians, most of us, the team, it's like you're playing team A and team B. Okay, because whichever teams wins to us, it's a win-win game, because we love these players on okay. So now it's also reconnection there that are going to form. People need to eat. Okay, so now those that are also in the hospitality industry are positioning themselves. As people are coming, not only will people come from different parts of the world, but even within Zambia, people are going to come. And so an entrepreneur is what makes an entrepreneur different from any one of us is innovation. Okay? So an entrepreneur is a very innovative and who takes advantage of every chance that is there. He or she is able to foresee what is happening and prevailing in the market and become relevant. And so is the who are able to sense what is at a particular time, and the listeners, the readers, and the viewers to what the particular media will think that should be news. And so even as an entrepreneur, you need to build that type of a culture. And how else, Moses and my dear listeners, are going to build that? First of all, if we don't even listen to any business.
Yeah, interesting. And talking about that, if you're just joining in, it is Kickstarted Money, right on 93.7 Money FM. And in a series of conversations that we have right on 93.7 around Kickstart, I'm always joined in by Coach Darlington. When the conversation today is around, obviously, entrepreneurship, building a culture or entrepreneurship culture. And you can follow live on Facebook, the Money FM Facebook page, and of course, you get to drop in your comments, and we'll be right here to read them, of course. And of course, you could be following proceedings right on the Money FM page as well as you can as well, 93.7 Money FM. So, quite a topical discussion, and of course, we had conversation, the series of conversations that we have right on Kickstarter Money. So in most of the times, as you're planning to start your business or you're looking to take advantage of opportunities or to be a part of the business world, it is all to be a part of Kickstarter Money. So our topic is building an entrepreneurship culture. How much of a culture you're putting in each and every day. And I do have a critical thinking coach right in the studios. Now, coach, as we progress, you talk about obviously a lot of various of course, activities that might be I think the opportunity at some point. Now, as something that we can tell us as Zambian culture, we tell obviously a lot of Zambians will love obviously doing one of those things. This could be pointed to entrepreneurial cultures. Even the young people get to at least seize opportunities and stick around and develop this. Of course,
Yeah. So it's a very interesting, question. Let's start from our home.
yeah.
First of all, is that we come from a culture where we're taught to say money is evil.
Yeah.
Okay? So people are scared, or even the vocabulary, it is not there.
Yeah.
The time that you are going to talk about money, it's when you need to buy something. And there, without shame, you're going to ask, I need money for this, I need money for that. Yeah. But we're not asking to say, if I'm asking for money for whatever reason that I need that money for, how does the money be made? Okay, how is this money being made that I'm asking Moses to give me? How is he making the money? So we don't want to know how you're making the money and how the business comes in. All I'm interested is give me the money I spend, and I do whatever that I want to do with the money.
Yeah.
So we need to realize that money is part of our life. Okay, that's why we are here on Money FM. Okay.
Yeah, money.
Yeah, so we need to start now getting even the vocabulary that we should now seize. I know we are doing very fine. I think on this program we have always emphasized we have built a culture, direct and indirect, of saving.
Yeah.
A lot of us are able to save. We are chatting with some colleagues, even the village bank, system, to say, oh, look, this one is a very good concept because it encourages you to learn how to use your money wisely and even save your money. And so what makes us not to progress is again the ability to invest.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do not sit around your table, even as a family, to start talking about areas where to invest,
Yeah.
apart from a house
Mm-hmm.
and buying a car and food, but to teach children to say, some of us were lucky because our parents would sit and tell us, so look, they would open for us small savings, accounts. They would also give us sweets, can you go and sell sweets? Can you go and sell fritters? Can you go and sell neckties? Can you go and sell this and that? Okay. So money did not become a problem even now because one is exposed to money at a tender age. So you can see, Moses, the difference of us. Those of us who are having money in our adult life were a problem. Okay, just 100 kwacha can confuse someone.
Yeah.
Later on, a 1,000 kwacha. Okay, not
Mm-hmm.
even to mention a 10,000 kwacha. But the one who has been exposed to money, that is not an issue. You who have not seen money, you just hear that people have got money. Then
Yeah.
we entrust you, Moses says, okay, Moses, this is 200 kwacha. I mean, you always long to have that money. And so the way you're going to spend, it will determine you want to eat and you make your plate full. By the time that you
Yeah.
think of investing in your business, it's when the money has finished.
Mm-hmm.
So you are getting the money when you come to the money because your culture is not to invest. Your culture is to spend. So we have come to be masters of spending. So in Zambia, we spend a lot. So when we get our money, we say,
Mm-hmm.
Indra Mazanga. So we don't want to push into investing,
Mm-hmm.
but we push to spend for various reasons. Because entrepreneurship is not easy. Let me pick at this particular stage the posting that Z Farmer she posted,
Mm-hmm.
which also generated some comments, I think this morning, if I'm not mistaken. She had recently a day or so a wedding.
Yeah.
Then she posted, I think in the morning, to say, look,
Mm-hmm.
we are back into the onion. She was an onion farmer. She was an onion farmer.
Mm-hmm.
And she wrote one or two, but I think one that brought in a lot of interesting generated debate is, no, the rich people are stingy with their money. So that was very interesting and deliberate. Okay. All she was just saying is, look, an entrepreneur, he does not spend anyhow. That
Mm-hmm.
today you get your NAPSA pension, it's your pension.
Mm-hmm.
Then you say now you become all the sudden you become very generous to be Father Christmas. By the way, you need to be observant. An entrepreneur is an observant person.
Yeah.
Father Christmas does not spend anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
Gifts that Father Christmas does are well calculated, and even the recipient of the gifts are well known. So you will not come in here on the market, even here, if I'm not part of the parcel. He is not going to give me a present.
Yeah.
It's deliberate. I have five, loaves of bread, and I'll distribute to this one and this one and this one, and they just distribute it just like that, even if they'll come 100 of us. So they will not go extra miles. So look, since I planned for 5, you have come 10, so let me go and borrow so that even you two you have. Then they do not know where they are borrowed in, because we are developing now a culture of getting into what? Debt. Which now a majority of us, again, how to get into debt. I can't teach that subject competent. Most of us listeners who are listening to us via online and even on radio, we are very mobile, the facility where you go to borrow, we know that. So you can see the culture in our compounds. How to borrow, we have mastered it, and it's a way of living. That's why I say that culture is a way of what? Living. So the way of living on investing wrongly, we seem to be doing fine in those areas. Unfortunately, it's the wrong area that we are. So we need to get back to invest in our identified businesses. Some of us, the good news is that at this stage where we have reached, Moses, we know where to invest our energy and our resources. Yeah. And this is where the building starts from. Yeah. Once you have identified, this is the plot, I have bought my plot. Mm-hmm. So have you ever seen someone who has bought a plot and he goes and starts building or putting sand and the blocks on somewhere else on a different plot? Impossible, coach. And yet, you and me, we have got businesses that we are running. Mm-hmm. We rarely put anything to those businesses, and instead we take the money elsewhere, party after party. Mm-hmm. And then we assume that our businesses, all of a sudden, when we go to them, we find them, they are well established. And that's why they do this policy, that capital. No. What we are missing is the ability to build successful culture that will compel me to focus on my business and make it my business. Okay, interesting. If you're just joining in, it is Kickstart right on, and of course on 93.7 Money FM. We have obviously a comment from Alista, which is your car. Says excellent. Lucky my watchama is following as well the conversation. The same, and of course be a part and leave your comments right on the social media platforms like Facebook, as we are live right on the Money FM Facebook page as well as other pages. So you can be a part, and of course you can follow the proceedings right on Coach Darlington Facebook pages. Well, so it's all hard and of course getting better each and every day. As we are starting and building our businesses, looking forward to how we are going to be involved, especially Christian. This is Kickstart right on 93.7 Money FM. So if you are planning or you have been already in business, so you are looking forward to go into business, it is well that you be part of the conversation, especially where Kickstart at Money is concerned. The topic of discussion is around building an entrepreneurship culture. How much of a culture are we building today, especially when we look at entrepreneurship, and how are we getting to be involved each and every time? Now, Coach, I know time is not the best ally, but let's try to squeeze in one or two thoughts, especially around our topic that is more of interest. When we talk about growing up, you are obviously taught on how to reckon money or how to sell. This is mostly in selling, but this is all part of entrepreneurship. Is there a gap, especially in teaching or bringing up our children or bringing up
children, especially around building that culture of um, not spending, but obviously investing by the end of the day. I believe I can easily spend, and obviously those who would understand to spend, they are called the trackers or anything like that. Are we brought up in such a culture, and how can we just develop a culture that obviously allows everybody to exercise culture?
Yeah, the good news is now with the coming of the digital platforms, it's even from here, the people are watching. At first we couldn't even know how to use the social media. Would post funny. I know some will still post that. As I said, you need to define yourself, what you want to be. Do you want to be a comedian? So if you're posting something fun and you say, oh, everyone likes you, then that shows that your niche is in comedy.
Yeah.
And all you need is to brand yourself to say, okay, what kind of a comedian am I going to be? Am I going to be like Ken Dumbo, Pamela, IDC, and all guys, and Luck. You see, Luck is a very interesting post.
Yeah.
We've got interesting characters. I will go to is Dr. Ngongolo.
Yeah.
Everything now, it's scandals and the like, or Shimpundu, and many great, comedians that we have.
Yeah.
Even our own are going to be like our own PS, Pilato, and all these great artists that we have. If you noticed, also they are branded and they are now online.
Yeah.
And they are earning a living because that's a talent that they have discovered that they need to, and they have built that culture of comedy. And they are now monetizing, their skills. And that's what also we want to encourage each other to say, oh, look, even here, constantly we're trying to say, okay, fine, as a coach, teaching critical thinking coach, it's a huge business, opportunity. So now it's an issue, how do I monetize, this gift that is given so that we constantly share? The good news is that now, whichever topic friend you may think of, you have got your own local Zambians talk about, Christianity, you talk about with the critical thinking every Tuesday.